that this was like one of the better ones. No,
Yeah.
I don't know. It's been going steadily downhill since episode 1. I mean, episode 4 was kind of good, I guess, but
it was entertaining. I don't know if it was good.
I found episode 6 to be entertaining.
For the wrong reasons.
I just couldn't stop laughing. It was so ridiculous.
Yeah, episode 6 was bad. Yeah, let's get right into it. We're recording right now.
Hi, people.
Hi. We're not live on YouTube since I've been streaming Dark Souls for most of the day. I'm gonna try and just see if putting it out as a recording helps.
Wait, if we're not live, does that mean we're dead?
Well, we are. I just got out of Dark Souls. I'm pretty thoroughly dead.
Oh, well, I'm dead inside. This show killed me.
Yeah, so the last time we saw this, they thoroughly ruined the subplot with the wolves. The plot with the wolves from the books.
Uh-huh.
They're in Tar Valon. Matt and Rand went to Tar Valon rather than Caemlyn, when they could have easily done Caemlyn instead of Tar Valon.
Well, Caemlyn might have been easier, too.
Yeah, but they wouldn't have had the sex scene, the important sex scene, the really plot-important lesbian, fun, sexy time scene. They couldn't have done that if they were in Caemlyn. It's really important to the plot, guys.
Well, I could have done it in Caemlyn. Just have Maureen hire a hooker, or do it with Eleda.
Bruh. With more gays.
Well, considering that I've always kind of imagined Morgaze as kind of Nicole Kidman or Michelle Pfeiffer in her youth. So
we live in a society.
Those sound like lady names.
Catwoman from Tim Burton's Catwoman.
Oh.
And have you ever seen the Golden Compass movie?
I think so, but I don't remember it.
Okay.
Yes.
Moulin Rouge. Have you seen that?
Yeah.
Oh no.
Let me actually
So aside from lesbian sex, what else happened in episode 6?
That was pretty much it, really.
Matt got healed of his dagger affliction.
Oh, fucking instantly, yeah.
Oh yeah, Maureen just did it on the spot, so they didn't even need to go to Tar Valon because they didn't need more than one Aes Sedai to heal him. So, that entire plot point is just dead.
Unless they decide to go back to it, because they left Matt behind. It seems as though that was a hasty rewrite.
Yeah. Well,
because they were filming they filmed the episodes in chronological order.
Well, that just raises the question: if Moraine wasn't able to fully heal the daggertisms right then and there, why didn't she bring him to the White Tower so that way they could heal the rest of it off?
Yeah, I don't know.
Because they were right there in Tar Valon.
Was this after the fucking exiling?
No, that was she healed him of the dagger before the exiling bullshit.
So she could still, I was thinking like maybe if she was exiled, she couldn't go back, but she could still send him in to be healed. Fuck me, they fucked it so much.
Yeah, they've got it. Yeah, let's actually go through it in chronological order. The first thing we see is Swan Sanche's origin story, which fine, I suppose.
But it's unnecessary.
It is unnecessary.
We don't need it. We don't need this.
Well, and then it just makes me wonder, why would the dad be comfortable sending her all the way to Tar Valon alone? Like, what does he have to do at home that's more important than making sure his daughter makes it there safely?
There's so much about the scene that doesn't make sense. There's also the fact that, like, Tyr is like a port. It's like a port city kind of thing. It wouldn't be like a river like this, like in the...
So it technically is. So how Tyr works is that Tyr is actually not abutting the ocean. How it works is Tyr is at the tip of a triangle-shaped group of inaccessible spikes called that are rising out of the ocean called the Fingers of the Dragon, and you have to use a Tyrant Navigator to get out. So, like, it's actually a thing in book 4. They have to, there's the Sea Folk are saying we will consider leaving without getting a Tyrant Navigator. It'll just mean that we can't go back to Tyr again for you guys. It's more of a formality than anything else, but yeah.
Well, and then the other weird thing with that this Swan Sanchez backstory is that you guys notice that they painted the dragon's fang on the remains of their house, right?
Yeah, the problem with that is we don't have any context for that, nor do we have any understanding of what it means.
Yeah, I don't get what they were doing with that. But also, the other thing that's weird is the fact that she's clearly been channeling for a while. Like, he hasn't just felt the spark, whereas it should really be, like, especially in Tyr, as soon as you know you can channel, like, fuck off, basically. Like, you're not gonna hang around channeling, you know, in order to get good at certain things. Like, clearly she's able to use it pretty competently to do certain tasks, but it's like she should be gone already. Like, she shouldn't, as soon as she feels it, she should be sent off. You know, how is it they do it in the books? It's like she's put on like a carriage or something. Like there's like a
I don't even know how they do it in the books.
Like it's only like briefly mentioned, but it's like she's
daughter of a fisherman, 8 uncles, 1 older sister. She was sent to Tarval on the day that her ability was discovered. I love this. On the wiki, it says they quickly became pilfens for comfort and to ease their libidos, but though neither was lesbian.
yeah, no.
I think
weren't.
even that is like reading too much into it. Like there were articles that were saying like
that's actually from the companion.
Yeah, I feel like there were articles that were saying like that this relationship it was implied, but it's like I feel like this is not just pillow friends. You know what I mean? This is like devoted. Like this is, you know, it's yeah. I don't know, man. Well, and also the fact that they talked about boys, they talked about like what kind of man they would marry. You know?
Yeah, I know. Well, it's kind of like that section is from the
so that actually line is from the companion, the official book that has like an encyclopedia of everything. So that's as official you can get on it.
But you know, but there's a difference between to ease their libidos and like devoted like lovers, you know.
Yeah, that is definitely true.
And it also just seems like false drama kind of thing. It's kind of the same thing as the thing with in the first episode with Egwene and Rand. They're like, oh no, we'll never be able to be together. It's so dramatic, and I want to be a wisdom, and wisdoms can't marry, and it's so dramatic. We'll never be able to be together. Like, it's this kind of false drama where it's trying to make you care or feel like there's some tension, and it's just it just doesn't feel earned. It just feels really false and tacked on, you know.
Yeah, especially since they don't have to follow tradition. Like, for example, Nynaeve gets married much later, and she joins the Yellow Aja, and the green ones are the only ones known to marry their warders.
And it's not even a hard rule. Do you know what I mean? It's not even like with even in like the Two Rivers, like the way they make it in the show, like a thing with the wisdom that the wisdoms can't marry, but it's not like in the books. It's definitely not a hard and fast rule. You know what I mean? It's not like no, you can't. It is forbidden. Like no.
It is forbidden to taste the fruit. I don't know. Anyway. So yeah, the father, he decides to prioritize staying home in his burned down house rather than accompanying his daughter to the daughter that he loves so much to Tar Valon to make sure she gets there safely and all that fun stuff.
Yeah.
And then there was something about fishes can't touch the moon, except they do because at night or whatever. Reflections.
That was dumb.
They're a big fan of Mulan.
So what do we even get with the main characters? The actual main characters. Nothing.
Well,
hardly
Karen,
anything.
well,
Karen gets there.
Just asleep.
Oh yeah, Perrin was asleep the whole time.
That's pretty much asleep the whole time, apart from the really dumb dagger scene.
Yeah.
Well, I
There's
also
so
find
little that happens. The main thing that happens is basically this is all mostly Moraine. I think like the major thing that happens with this one is Swan Sanche is a complete idiot.
ugh.
It's so contrived, like this drama of like, well, I have to exile you. It's the only way. And using the oath rod like that is just sacrilegious. It is so dumb.
Yeah. So one thing about the books that is pretty important down the line is there is an Amerlin. I think we're all aware of Elida, who is considering making the sisters swear an oath to the Amerlin seat on the oath rod, and they consider rioting over it, essentially.
Yeah. Was that actually Elida's own idea, or was that something that
I think that was Elida's own idea.
No, I think that was her actual. It was like to me specifically, not just to the car, but to the Amerlin seat specifically. Yeah.
Yeah, because she is hyper paranoid and crazy.
Okay. Oh yeah, I just thought it might have been something that the Black Aja lady
Alviarn.
Yeah, no, I think that was like one of the things that was that was all her. That was all Elida. Yeah.
Because Elida's hyper paranoid and has a inflated view of herself.
And also, doesn't she spend most of the time drunk?
Yeah.
She's like Cersei with her wine glass.
I don't know if she is.
Sure.
I don't remember if she's drunk. I think she's drunk on para, but I don't think that she's like I don't think that she's an alcoholic.
Yeah,
At least
but
I don't remember her being
in this episode, like the way I feel like basically all the Aes Sedai just way overacting, way too much of whoa, and like fucking the way she talked, the bit where she's like, it's my world, blah, 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 and like, what the fuck? Where is the Aes Sedai like calm? The kind of like she doesn't need to be so like spiteful. In this moment, she can just be like she doesn't need to like shout or whatever. It's like I saw the video where someone was like breaking down that scene from Dark Knight, right, where it's like Joker and Batman, and the fact that the Joker seems like he's in control because he's being really calm the whole time, like he's just speaking like really calmly, even though he is theoretically the one who's like locked up or like who's in, but because he is just keeping calm and in control of the situation, he comes across as being in control. Like Swan is just the exact opposite here, and it's just so ruins the character. It's like no, you need to have contrast for when Elida comes in, so you can be like, oh yes, Swan was tough but fair. But whereas like Elida is just tough and also a bitch.
Yeah, and like just her saying my tower, my city, my world. That's not Swan Sanche.
Yeah, she's basically coming across as a tyrant, especially since Aes Sedai, as they also translated it for us in the show, means servants of all.
And I agree. It's not, she doesn't, she doesn't appear like a good leader. Also, just the whole thing that like she's pressuring Moraine to say something about
And
the
she
thing,
brought it up.
which is so dumb.
But it's like,
Like-
she brought it up. It wouldn't be an issue if you didn't bring it up. People wouldn't be asking questions about it. But now you brought it up. Now you need to like only because you brought it
Yeah.
up is it a problem. It's so stupid.
And
And Moraine
there's
was
so many easy rewrites for it.
There really are. They basically just turned Moraine into the most incompetent nincompoop in this entire
it's also-
show.
The whole scene of the slow motion, like sad, like exiling scenes, like I can't believe I have to. They're trying to make it like
Tragic.
they're trying to rip off like the Walk of Shame thing from Game of Thrones. They're trying to basically rip off that scene, but with none of the gravitas and the
or build up.
the build up and the earning of it. Like realistically, the part where she's with what's her name? What's the the Blue Aja like leader?
Megan.
Yeah. Where's he? Also the other fucking thing. Why does every other conversation has to be in like a bath or a sauna or some shit for no fucking reason? Like
Because
every other conversation.
Because we need nudity. That worked in Game of Thrones, and everything has to be Game of Thrones or it's
But
crap.
Problem is the season even
It's so
very.
fucking
This isn't even
man.
titillating nudity.
No,
so
it's
what's
just
the
it's
point?
just like we have nudity, guys. We have a.
Do
we,
you
we're not.
realize?
Yeah.
Like,
Do you realize why that was the nudity in Game of Thrones? It was because they were saying we are aiming directly at the horny
Yeah.
teenage boys in the audience, as well
But
as
anyway-
the horny college age boys.
Yeah. But what I was going to say was with like the part where she's like, I want you to say, Range should be like, okay, and then just leave. Like she just leaves without saying anything. That's what Maureen would do. You know, that's what the real Maureen would do. Would just be like, all right, we're just going to leave without saying anything. Because that's what she
Adios.
always does. You know, she doesn't need to have this song. She can just leave. And that can kind of serve the exact same purpose of, well, if she just leaves without saying anything, well, maybe they're not on good terms. You know what I mean? It serves all the same things. And without having a fucking oath, without having the really dumb use of the oath rod.
well, she wanted
Yeah.
to swear that oath because now she wants Swan to mix it up in the bedroom, and that was
She's
the
just
only...
fucking horny. That's it.
Yeah.
That's it. it's
Yeah.
so fucking stupid.
I think also there's an element of just why didn't Swan just say, I'm not going to pry into Blue Aja business any more than I'm going to pry into Red Aja business? Or just ask do you want me to, or just ask her, do you want me to ask you to air the Red Aja's dirty laundry in the hall of the tower?
Why isn't
Provider?
Leandrin being held more accountable? She was the one it was her fucking idea to gentle Logain, without a
Yeah.
trial. It was her
Well,
fucking
to-
idea. What are you?
Well, to be fair, given the events of
That's
episode
stupid.
4, I'd say she was justified in gentling Logain on the spot.
Yeah.
But still.
I think
Well, there's always
it's
the
really
link
dumb
thing.
though. But why didn't they? Why weren't they already? I mean, it's just the way the linking works and stuff, and the way the power levels work, and the way like keeping someone shielded. I don't
Well-
know. It just all seems kind of silly.
Yeah, but those are episode 4 problems. We're here to talk about episode 6.
Which it's mostly just pointless. This episode is completely pointless. You
Oh, but you know-
don't need it other
You
than
know what was bad
oh,
though?
what
You know what was really bad? The fact that it kind of goes into episode 7, but it's like the thing that they started in this episode where they're like, oh, the Eye of the World. First of all, the Eye of the World is the Dark One's prison. Like, no. Second of all,
no.
we're just gonna go there and just see what happens. That's literally their entire plan. They have literally no plan other than we're just gonna go there and see what happens.
Yeah,
I'm
and
willing
the
to
ones
bet
that are not the dragon will die.
Yeah, I'm willing to bet that they're going with this whole, the Eye of the World is the Dark One's prison, so that way they can be like, subverted your expectations. That only has a seal on his prison. See, the prophecies aren't actually set in stone.
I think that's also stupid. The whole idea, they're basically taking I get what they're doing. They're taking the idea that, but doesn't it say in the Wheel of Time at the start of all the books that what is it? Legend turns to myth, and myth becomes blah blah blah. Blah, stories. Like it says that kind of stuff in like the spiel at the start of the books, right? But the problem with that is that these prophecies aren't that old. They're like the fact that
They're
when you think
3,000 years old.
well, but the thing with that is when you
They've
have
been
Aes
copied
Sedai,
They've been copied
you have
consistently
people
and
that live like
translated over and
hundreds of
over
years,
again.
right? You have people that live hundreds of years who were able to write it. So the difference, it's like the idea that, like when you think about like the Bible and you think about who wrote down that, the thing is we're talking about normal human lifespans. So how close something has to be to the time to have it be written by someone who was there, it has to be a lot closer. Whereas in Wheel of Time, there are people that live a lot longer. And so there are people who can actually write it down word for word, like verbatim, each of these prophecies. And there's no reason that they couldn't have those completely secure, especially like the White Tower has been there the whole time. So they've had literally in writing and people knowing the people that were there. So there's the idea that 3,000 years is it's so long ago. That means it would be lost. No. They've had it in writing.
Yeah,
And
they've
had it passed down
recorded
completely accurately.
Yeah, like in Tyr alone, there are about Rand finds like 3 or 4 translations of the prophecies of the dragon.
Because I think it's vastly overestimating like these prophecies are it's not like that they're from a different turning of the wheel. They're from the same turning of the wheel. And 3,000 years, when you take into account the lifespan of Aes Sedai, is not that long in terms of preserving something like a prophecy.
There's also the elements of they've made sure to record it. Like this is like they didn't lose the ability to write, and they recorded the prophecies of the dragon. It's from the Old Tongue, and they even have the original Old Tongue recordings 3,000 years later.
Thank goodness the printing press survived the breaking of the world.
Yeah. So I think this whole idea that these prophecies have changed, like it makes no fucking sense that these prophecies maybe they've changed since no, that just doesn't make sense.
Also also the idea so I'm gonna state this with the caveat that this could all be BS, that is a dream inserted by Ishamael or the Dark One or whatever. But Swan says that he's weak and that they can destroy him, and they need to go to the Dark One's prison and kill him.
Well, yeah, very good idea to send the Dragon Reborn untrained and without even
Unprepared.
Palandor to take on the Dark One. Very bright idea.
Are you saying that the hymn is not what like so that I need to see the exact wording, but are you saying like the hymn when she says to kill him that it's not the Dark One, or does she specifically say kill the Dark One?
I think she says him. I believe
if it's
she says him,
then maybe she doesn't actually mean kill the Dark One, but it's a different him that is there.
The Dark One has to be a man because men are evil.
There's no ambiguity about the Dark One. The dragon, what could the dragon be? Really, if you think about it, the dragon's non-binary. But like the Dark One, no, that's definitely him. That's definitely a him. There's no ambiguity about the Dark One.
Yeah. And then once we get into but it's Moraine's story, and then they spend this whole cockamamie song and dance BS about getting Moraine exiled from the tower until the Amerlin calls her back. And it has to be an oath on the oath rod. There's a really, really terrible usage of the oath rod. It feels clunky. They didn't have to use it.
Not to mention with the exact words that Moraine used, it would pretty much out her relationship with Swan on the spot. Like anyone with a functioning brain cell who heard her swear that oath would be like, oh yeah, they're fucking.
Yeah, so stupid, man. And also the fucking politics after, well, not kind of after that, but there's like kind of Aes Sedai quote unquote politics, but it's the most like fucking high school like high school level
nonsense.
drama. It's like I'm gonna tell them that you're straight.
Which
Oh
could
my
always be a
fucking God.
Forsaken. It could
Oh,
always
that
be
is
a
so
Forsaken,
stupid.
but it would be dumb.
That is
Ugh.
so dumb. That is the dumbest fucking shit. Like, no,
Or
that is
he's
just
either
so
a Dark
silly.
Friend Contact or a Forsaken, or so there's two options. One, she's boning. Two, it's a friend that she. But then again, if it's just a friend, the Red Aja wouldn't do anything to her. But
Well,
Moraine
yeah,
is threatening to. I will tell your friends that you're straight.
But
Is kind of the funniest reading, honestly.
like Moraine's threat makes absolutely no sense because if it's just yeah I'll tell all the Red Aja that you're straight and you'll be punished for it. Well, that's not really a big deal. I don't
No,
think the Red Aja
you don't understand.
cares.
She will be cringe. That's what's worse. She will be cringe.
But if Moraine knows that Lenandrin's seeing a dark friend or a man who can channel or something actually heinous like that, then why isn't she putting a stop to it? Because that's something that affects more than just the Red Aja.
Yeah.
It's so dumb. And also, like, where is the subtlety? Like, where, like, I keep going to, in the books, but it's like, literally, where's the like, clever wording of things? Where everybody's calm, everybody's staying calm and poker face, but trying to say things that are technically true, but not saying a thing that, like, do you know what I mean? Like, it's like, where is the subtlety? The
Subtlety,
subtle
what does that
themes,
taste like?
Yeah,
there isn't really much to. Yeah, there honestly isn't much to say about this other than they've thoroughly ruined Swan Sanche and Moraine in this episode. There are some subtle hints of Shanshan in the bathhouse, where it's a throwaway line, but Megan says, "I'm going to be investigating the disappearance of ships."
Oh, okay, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Well, the
rip.
Sanshan do show up in book 2, so I guess they have to set that up for their season 2. How that's gonna go, I have no idea.
Yeah.
Everything that sets up the Great Hunt hasn't happened in the series.
It is so fucking mangled at this point. Like, the timeline, the lore, the character, it's so just mangled. It's put through one of those, the things for, like, making
Cheese grater.
lasagna. You know, they do, like, the rollers for, like, making the lasagna sheets.
Yeah.
It's just grind.
Yeah, it's they have essentially hamstrung themselves going into the Great Hunt, because I guess Matt's going to go back after the dagger, and then it's going to take a lot of effort to re-heal him permanently.
Ugh.
Because it is weird, because they filmed it in chronological order, 1 through 6, and then COVID hit around the time that episode 6 was filming. And then when they came back, Barney Harris did not come back, so they had to rewrite him, at least his Matt, out of the show, and then summarily recast him.
All they had to do was, you have the scene where she heals him, but then you and ADR it in if you have to. Like, just have a scene where it's like it's where it's like from the back of her head, you can't see what she's saying, and just have her say, like, he needs to stay to recover. He's not fully recovered, but I don't believe he's. I don't think he's the one. I don't think he can be the dragon anymore, and he doesn't need to come with us. He has to stay here to recover, and that, because then you don't even. Like, you literally just have a throwaway line like that, and you can literally just dub it in afterwards with no extra footage.
Yeah, but that would have required good effort, and it would have painted. It wouldn't have allowed them to shit all over a man and make him come across as horrible.
Yeah, well, that's the next episode, especially, where they're just like, oh yeah, well, he's like, especially Egwene is just like, yeah, he sucks. I fucking hate Matt. Matt's awful. He's just always been awful. Fuck Matt.
Yeah.
And then Ron's like, wow, that's kind of mean. And she's like, what are you saying? I don't care.
Well, I mean, to be fair, well, to be fair, Egwene does really not like Matt, in the books at least.
She doesn't
Like,
think he's a degenerate, but the thing is, like, they have made Matt a degenerate in the show.
Well, you know, I guess his mom was right about him. He really is going to turn out like his father.
Yeah. Matt has the worst parents ever in this show.
Ugh, I hate it.
Yeah.
It makes so little sense though that the village doesn't seem to give a shit or doesn't even like notice. Like it's supposed to be small, tight knit village where everybody knows everybody else, but everyone's just seeing. They're seeing it. It's not hidden. Do you know what I mean? Like he's flirting with other women and shit openly, and yet the women's circle don't do anything about this. They don't bring it up at their PTA meeting. You know, they don't bring it up.
Well, if
Guess
they brought
not.
it, if they brought it up, then the show wouldn't have an excuse for Matt to have terrible parents. So that way we could see, oh no, he's actually a good person who cares about his little sisters.
Yeah.
Because you know, there's no way to show that he actually has a heart of gold.
Yeah.
No other ways to do that. Just like how
Yeah.
the only way to show parents' internal conflict is to have him murder his wife. No other way to do that.
I think it's
Yeah.
stupid as well because Matt should be the one who's like his niche is being the one that's happy to be out of the two rivers and likes being in cities and stuff.
Like I
And
always
he
thought
doesn't
of,
want to go back. Yeah.
yeah, I always thought of Matt as the class clown. He's always good for a laugh, whether or not you
Yeah.
whether or not you actually like him overall. There's no denying that he does bring a lot of good stuff and comedy to the series.
I mean, he's kind of the Mary and Pippin kind of combined, but also they're like his key character trait is that he thinks of himself as a bad person. Like he doesn't consider himself a particularly good person. He considers himself selfish and cowardly and stuff. You know,
No.
even when he does good things,
heroic.
he's still like, oh no, I'm not a hero. I'm not brave or anything. I'm not a good person.
Though he doesn't beat himself up about it. He kind of just like
No,
he kind of humble brags a little bit. I am kind of interested to see what they do with Tylan and see in whatever season they do that. That's going to be interesting.
They'll probably just play it straight because you know a woman can't rape a man.
Or maybe they'll just turn it into a healthy relationship, and she's just clingy.
Maybe they'll portray it as him taking advantage of this rich woman in order to like rob her at some point. like it'll be like him. He's deliberately trying to get in bed like literally with her, but also so that he can take her expensive things. Do you know what I mean? Like it's him taking advantage of her in that kind of way. Do you know what I mean?
Maybe she ends up with the dagger.
Like I feel like something like that where
she does have a dagger. She just uses it to cut his clothes off and then rape him. Yeah.
Women.
Trigger warning for people who care.
All right. Anyway, well, we should probably try to get back on track. What else happened in episode 6?
We've gone through pretty much most of the major beats in 30 minutes, very easily.
Oh yeah, something that
the way gates. The way gate is the last thing that I can think of.
The fucking way gate.
Oh well, actually, there was one more thing I found confusing about Matt is that he seemed convinced that he could channel too. Like, was he just saying that so that way Rand wouldn't suspect the dagger or something, or did he actually believe that he could channel?
I don't know. It's so.
I'm not sure what he thought he did that he thought was channeling, but I don't know.
Yeah. Also, like, I do want to add that, like, they were kind of put in a weird position. I don't know what exactly has happened with the Matt actor.
It's very strange.
He left, and then he left, did not come back for filming 7 and 8. He left after 6, and then a few weeks before the show, it was announced that Matt was recast. My assumption is, this is my personal theory. He got super strung out on drugs, nearly overdosed, and was court ordered to go to rehab.
That
Well,
is my personal
really?
theory of what happened.
Hasn't he also
I don't know.
completely vanished from social media? Like he doesn't have.
Yes, he's
Yeah.
complete.
I think
Social media is gone.
Yeah, the strange thing, the thing that strikes me as odd is like if it was a case of him being cancelled, or if it was something cancelable, we would know about it. Do you know what I mean? If it was something like, oh, he made this awful remark or some shit, like we would know about that. That would be public information, But the fact that it's so hush
Private.
hush, you know what I mean? It implies that it's probably not something like that. So maybe, yeah, drugs, maybe. That's definitely. I'm not
Yeah.
sure. Like, I haven't heard of him having like anything, a drug problem,
That's
but
I
that
haven't
makes sense.
either.
Yeah.
I haven't either. That's just since if he broke contract, since he was pretty dang active on social media for a while during COVID, and then he just before filming of episodes 6, 7, and 8, he's just gone, and they just say
It's kind of like in Lost. Those two characters in Lost that got a DUI or something, and then they had to kill them off.
Yeah, or maybe he read the books. He's the only one in the cast who actually read the books, and he's like, "Yeah, they're butchering this. I'm out."
Or he had got into a disagreement with Rosamund Pike, and she said, "Get him out."
Ugh. Well, she is the highest billed actress in
No,
the show.
he just went up to Rafe Judkins and all he said, he just started a sentence that started with "women." Am I right? And then Rafe was just like, "Women are queens," and just vaporized him then and there, like the fucking the time police and fucking Loki. They just vaporize.
Yeah.
Well, hopefully it's something benign, like maybe
Hopefully.
like paternity leave. I don't know, but
It's-
hopefully benign.
Yeah, it seems like he was probably contracted for the entire 8 episodes, but they let him out of his contract and they haven't blistered him on Twitter. There's been basically nothing about what's happened, so it's probably something private, but it's still probably something pretty bad, which is why I'm thinking court order, drug rehab, or something.
It could be some like contractual that like it could be like they cut out some of his scenes to put in the fucking Moraine Swan sex scene, and he was annoyed that they cut out some of his scenes, and he was like, that was part of the deal, was that I got this much screen time and you cut out this scene just to have this.
Yeah. I do, and I think that's pretty much it for there. And then we get to the ending with the Waygate, and they leave him behind because the guy vanished.
Oh yeah, and then the Waygate has to be opened by channeling because that makes sense.
Stupid. I fucking
unless you're Pod and Fane, in which case you apparently can get through it fine.
Unless they're making Pod and Fane a channeler.
Probably they're having him.
They're giving him, maybe they're giving him the ability to channel.
It's actually kind of dumber.
Oh, they did reveal how Pat and Fane got in and out?
Oh, yeah,
in the lore or things.
What?
Oh, that's right. They have those the extra watching material that you need to go through.
Not even extra watching material. It's
it's reading material, like how in Final Fantasy 13 you have to read the codex in order to understand the plot, because that's good storytelling. You have to go outside of X to fully experience X.
There was I know there's an image of a trefoil leaf somewhere. There's an image of a trefoil of Pod and Fane holding a trefoil leaf. I don't know what that is, though. I don't know where that is, though.
Maybe Google knows.
Yeah. Pod and Fane. I think that there's some stuff that has been cut. Oh my gosh, sawed off. I found it.
Oh, already.
Look.
Oh, so he's holding
that?
The trefoil leaf of
It's
Avon Despair.
tiny.
Yeah. I don't get it. Also, how are the Ogier supposed to use it?
Yeah.
X-ray bonus content. Pun and fame. Why is this not in the show?
Because if they put it in the show, there wouldn't be enough time for a sex scene.
Oh my god! Right, we'll get. They also introduced the idea of in this episode. I think it was this episode that they introduced the idea of the many-headed dragon.
Yes.
With like it
Yeah.
could be multiple people at once. It's like,
Yeah.
oh my fucking god!
Yes, once that like, oh, I once heard a Gleeman say that it could be a multi-headed dragon. Because
And-
that's more viable than the prophecies that have been recorded and such reliably for 3,000 years.
Yeah.
Stop bringing logic into a movie! Random, incoherent, juvenile shit happens, things explode, and people empty their wallets to see it!
Oh, yeah, sorry, I'm not supposed to think about things.
Yeah.
Thinking bad.
Yeah. And then from there, like, it just doesn't make any sense that you require channeling to get into the ways when the ways were built for Ogier.
And out of it,
They now severely have to rewrite the whole of the ways origin story. And it's just like, why do you need to do that? And also, you don't need to do the whole song and dance. The only reason why you did that was that Matt couldn't come after them.
but they also wanted to have the moment where, like, at the end of the ways, where it's this whole big thing of her, like C has to
Opening
use the one power to open it, so it takes a little bit longer to open it, so that they could have that whole scene where they all hear
That
the
happens in
things.
the books.
No,
That
no, but
happens in the books too.
but
Yeah,
they
like-
had to have the moment of like of Marine like having to open it, like of her having to struggle to open it.
Well,
She could
they
have just
had
cut
that,
it open like she did in the books.
Yeah, they had that in the book because the Faldara gate didn't have the tree, the
The leaf on the right
the-
side.
It didn't have it on the inside, so Moraine had to channel it open.
But we didn't have the fucking Nynaeve's going Super Saiyan again.
Oh, that was so
You know,
dumb.
They didn't have that.
That was so stupid. That's not how Nynaeve's power works. Like, she gets mad, but like she doesn't go Super Saiyan when she
It's
gets
just
mad.
It's just a get out of jail free card at this point, like her par level or whatever. It's literally just Nynaeve gets a moment of par because the plot demands it. Do you know what I mean? It's just
But
And also,
everyone
like-
likes Dragon Ball Z, and they've been saying we need a female Super Saiyan for years.
in before she gets blue hair. She goes Super Saiyan God. She gets the blue hair.
Blooper Saiyan.
I just don't get this. And especially like we get the ways, we get Mash and Shin, we get Pan and Fane following them through the ways, which just like
Hi. Yeah.
yeah, apparently like trefoil leaf, and it's just like that you can find in the X-ray content, which is the stuff in the side of the episode.
But also, so there. We don't really have any connection with. There's nothing in the show to connect Padanfian to the dagger. Is there? Like,
Nope.
there's
The
like
only
nothing
thing-
connecting him to that at all.
The only thing that we have is him. We hear his whistle in the ways, and we also hear it in Shadow Logoth. That is the extent to which he is connected. We don't admittedly get his connection until what his connection is until book 2, but the fact that they've cut a lot of Padan Fane out of the show, as well as kind of like he doesn't look unhinged. He just looks like he's just kind of following them around.
Yeah, he looks
It's
like he's having the
weird.
time of his life. Like, I mean,
Yeah.
I guess that could be a sign of being unhinged, but Padan Fane in the book, oh man, that guy was being hounded to chase them down.
But also, it doesn't really help that we don't have. We never had more death at all. Like, we never had anything like that at all in the show. So, yeah.
which is frustrating in the extreme because he's very pivotal, at least to Padan Fane's like drive to get the dagger, and I'm just like, how on earth are they going to do the Shan now? Are they actually going to give them a Texan drawl like Robert Jordan?
That would be that. I want to see that. That's the idea of that is just so hilarious to me. Like the idea that it's
Yeah, that'll be funny.
It will be funny. Like Matthew McConaughey as High Lord Turok with those Fu Manchu nails.
just imagining the army doing that thing from like you have this Shan army and they're all doing that thing from Wolf of Wall Street. You know, it's like
We should watch. I love that movie. We should watch that sometime. We should watch that movie sometime. Probably Balerion won't, because that is not up Balerion's alley at all. That is probably one of the crassest, most like dirty movies ever. That wasn't NC-17.
Yeah, and then episode 7 just piles on the character assassination of Moraine. So not only does she risk destroying the entire world by leaving Matt behind when he is possibly the Dragon Reborn, she gets vindictive and sticks the Retta Jaw on him.
Oh, and also Egwene, what is it? She says, "Oh, well, we know what choice he would make." It's like, what? What the fuck? Just throwing him under the bus? It's like, we know. We just know. It's predetermined. And also Egwene is just like, yeah, Matt sucks. She's just like,
Yeah.
Not to mention that whole the dragon might side with the Dark One. Isn't that something that only the Dark One really brings up in the books?
Yes.
So
it's like the dragon will win or die. Win and die or just die. I don't think there's join him is ever brought up really, other than by the Dark One and by Lanfear.
Yeah, well,
which I am so excited to see how they mess up Lanfear.
Yeah, maybe Lanfear will try to kill Egwene, but Egwene is so unbreakable, so she'll be like, no, and then beat her.
Well, the problem is Lanfear is also a whammon.
Yeah, but you see, they cast Egwene as a black woman.
I mean, she's evil though, so it's fine.
Yeah.
Women can't be evil. Lanfear was just in love. That doesn't mean she's evil.
She just wanted that dragon dick.
Mm-hmm. She should have just gone to Black Dragon. Or not Black Dragon. Bad Dragon, that's it.
Well, yeah. I am interested. I wonder if they're gonna have her try to seduce him and it fails, or they actually have sex. That would be kind of bad. I'm
they're
not
probably
interested.
They're probably gonna go full hardcore. She's pegging him.
There was a scene in the ways where the bit where they're like resting or whatever, and like Rand and Egwene are like fully snuggling up, and Nynaeve just looks over and is just like, and it's like, what the fuck? Where's the Two Rivers wisdom of like, what are you young children doing? That is inappropriate, you know,
and in public.
Don't
inappropriate.
It's like, no, solitary confinement.
Oh,
also,
like also from the ways, they're a little inconsistent with Perrin. So they show that he's got really good eyesight now, which is in line with the books. But he's also supposed to have really good hearing and smelling. So he should have been able to notice that Trolloc was nearby well before anyone else.
Also, why is he not able to smell Padan Fane?
Yeah. Like, didn't Perrin mention that they were being followed in the books?
Yeah. And now it's just land that says it. And then we see Padan Fane standing there in a, like, flash of Waze lightning. Which, I think the Ways aesthetically look fine. I think that they look about as good as you could picture them.
It's basically evil Giant's Causeway.
We forgot to mention the stupid from episode 6 where they ride up to the Ways and then they release their horses with their saddles on and everything.
Yeah.
And then we come out into, we have this scene where they're trying to get through the Waygate. Nynaeve goes Super Saiyan after the Black Wind catches up to them and starts speaking what seem to be objective truths in their brains.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One more problem with the ways is that after Rand channels and kills a Trolloc, the wind is coming, and then Maureen's like, how close to the Faldara gate? So Faldara wasn't their objective in the beginning. So does that mean there's a way gate at the Eye of the World?
That's really dumb.
Oh yeah.
Or
the whole mission is dumb in the first place because their whole plan is we're just gonna go there and see what happens. That's literally it.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's just sick the dragon at the Dark One. What could possibly go wrong?
I'm interested to see, like, so apparently, like, there are some Forsaken, and there's a guy who, for a long, long time, was listed on the IMDb as just Steve.
Steve.
The formidable Steve.
You know, if I was one of the Forsaken, I think that's what I'd take my name as. Just Steve.
Do not speak his name.
But it's a common name.
Do not speak his name.
Well,
But it's common.
no, it's not. Well, wait.
Oh, did they update IMDb?
What? Oh yeah, I'm looking at it. It says 9 episodes when in reality that's for season 2.
Do not speak the name of that dark sorcerer. Like, what is his name? I will speak it only once. Carl.
I do remember. Have either of you seen Over the Hedge?
Yes.
Oh yeah, I've seen Over
Where
that.
it's like let's call it Steve. Steve. It's a pretty name.
Steve.
Okay, let's see. Where there was one guy. I don't remember who it was or his name, but he for the longest time he was just listed as Steve. I don't know.
Steve.
He's not listed
Ooh.
here on IMDb. I'm trying to find him, but he ain't there. Let me look up Steve. Wheel of Time. Okay, so Steve is the supposed name of a character in the Wheel of Time television series played by Phil Snowden.
Phil Snowden. My goodness, that is a name.
Yeah. The costume was ruined in June of 2020 with speculation that he may be an original character created for the show.
Yeah, the 14th Forsaken, Steve. And what was Steve's greatest crime? He would never parallel park.
Let me check some. Yeah, let me see. So what? Phil Snowden. Okay.
Also, well, yeah, and while we're looking that up,
He is not listed on Wheel of Time is not listed on his IMDb.
oh, so either hiding it or they had to restructure it around Matt not being available for the last 2 episodes.
There's also the possibility that he is. My theory now is that he is Agenor. But then again, it says that he's an original character, but he
Unless
hasn't
he's a
shown up in any of
combination
the
of-
show.
Like a combination of multiple Forsaken with a different name entirely.
Yeah. So this is the guy. Let me actually share my screen real quick. This is Phil Snowden.
Oh, he looks like a dude.
Yeah. But so according to Redanian intelligence, it added 5 new cast members, Baby Swan, Dana.
Who's Dana?
The innkeep who tried to kill Rand.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Jennifer Preston. I don't remember who she. I don't know who she played. And I think. She was one of the yellows. I think. Mistress Grinwell. Oh, okay.
Who's Mistress Grinwell?
Lay with the
Mom
bow.
from the farm.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. She's dead now.
Yeah. It seems that they announced a lot of very minor castings.
Hmm.
A whole lot of things. Wait. So there's a lot of people being cast for season 2. We got Barthanas Damardred is guy's a bit young. Okay. Japanese lady being cast as one of Min Farshaw's aunts. Huh.
Wait, wasn't Min adopted?
By her aunts. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So that's accurate at least. But yeah, off that little tangent. Yeah, then we have Faldara, and we get to meet Algamar Jagad, who originally was a very respectful, was pleading with them to come with his army to hold off a massive Trolloc army in the Gap. And in this one, he just comes off as, I got this. We got this. We totally got this. We don't need your help. Because men in power don't respect women, even though in the book he respected the women a lot.
To a very insane degree. Honestly, with how disrespectful he was in the show, I almost didn't believe they were in Faldara.
But we've skipped past a very important scene, which is the epic badass pregnant woman.
Oh, yeah,
yeah.
I forgot about that. Oh, that was so freaking stupid.
Oh yeah, and one thing
Pregnant Aiel woman fighting off a bunch of armored knights from the bunch of companions.
I don't care how fucking badass you think the Aiel are or Maidens of the Spear. That is dumb. That is dumb as fuck.
Yeah, I'm just there are a bunch of people that saying that it's great, and it's just
no, come on, dude.
I
don't even think pregnant Maidens of the Spear would even be allowed to fight.
Well,
I'm pretty sure in the books they would be no, you're not even allowed to fight. The wise ones would be no.
I mean,
it is technically accurate to the books that she was still in the fighting at Tar Valon, and she was, and that there's a prophecy that she would not go back to the Westlands until the Maidens of the Spear went to Tar Valon.
Yeah,
that's
that was
an actual prophecy in the book that's not revealed until book 4.
Oh yeah,
but the fact that she is fighting a bunch of guys rather than being in a group is stupid.
How did she get separated? We have questions.
I just cannot
defend herself.
Seriously.
Yeah, Shad actually brought this up in his review that it would have been better and it would have been an okay change that Rand's dad had died protecting his mother.
I just think there's so much you could have done differently than literally just having single-handedly
pregnant woman, not just pregnant. Stupid. She's in the throes of labor.
Yeah, she's literally giving birth in the process.
I'm just
oh my
that
God.
It doesn't work like that. I think Shad's wife actually weighed in on it. It's just yeah, you probably want to kill somebody during labor, but you're not. Whether you're capable of that is another thing entirely.
Also, we forgot to complain about the most important thing that they got completely wrong. She was killing them without a veil on.
Yeah.
I mean, well, they kind of set it
They
up that she
even-
takes her veil off to breathe, like to get better like breath, and then she's like taking it, like the guy comes from behind and she can't really stop to put her veil up.
Yeah, but I'll always do that before they kill someone. Always. It's their culture.
It's also brought up in the show that when they veil themselves, that's when you need to worry.
Yeah. So
But I just think if it was just like one and she was like lying down like in a cave, and then like one of them comes in and she's able to fight off like one of them while like from a position of like lying on the ground, like she has a spear and whatever, but she's like able to keep him away and survive, and then Tam comes in and stops the other guy. Do you know what I mean? He or like distracts him enough that she can kill him, and then he sees that she's pregnant or something like that, where okay, maybe if it was just one-on-one,
But
and
3 at the same time, and she's also
so
doing like pretty hefty acrobatics.
yeah.
yeah, well, don't you want to see pregnant women do acrobatics while in the throes of labor?
Yeah, it's just like you're giving birth is pretty debilitating.
Yeah, no wonder why Rand is so brain dead in this show. He's basically mush.
Yeah, and we'll get to that in a minute. But like, yeah, it's if his dad had died, if it was his dad doing that while his mom is giving birth, that would have made sense, and that he died protecting the woman he loved. Wouldn't that be so much more compelling?
Yeah, but then that would be showing a man in a positive light, and we can't have that.
And it would also be showing a woman needing a man as well, which you also can't have. It's, I saw this. What's the YouTuber's name? I can't remember his name. He does a lot of like Wheel of Time.
Daniel
content.
Green?
Well, he's been no. Like he did.
See,
No. He did one of the Fantasy News episodes one time for Daniel Green when he covered for him one time or something.
Oh, that guy. I think I know. What you're talking about.
But he said in one of his videos that it's all fine to criticize the show, but I think something along the lines of all these people saying that it's woke, it can't be woke because don't you know that Amazon is a big corporation? It's one of the biggest corporate, so that means it can't be woke.
Oh,
I was just
that makes
strange. What a strange.
They are pandering to woke morons.
Like
they are pandering hardcore to them. Have you seen The Boys season 2? It has every left-wing talking point, including name-dropping PewDiePie of all
no.
people.
But you don't understand. You don't understand. No, the fact that it's a big corporation means that they can't possibly put out any media that has left-wing talking points in it because it can't be woke because it's a big corporation.
Yeah, just like I
that
can't
seems
have
to be his position. It's just bizarre to me.
Even though The Boys season 2 is wholly left-wing propaganda. Like Yvette pointed this out, and it's just like it's so blunt and on the nose. Like neo-Nazi, like the Stormfront is a neo-Nazi with all the neo-Nazi stuff. A guy gets radicalized by memes to shoot.
Like not even good memes. Not even good dank memes, not even like the convincing like dank deep fried memes. Terrible like memes that a normie would make and think is really radical and stuff. But also the fact that
normies could come up with better memes than I think unpaid intern.
There's so many things about like the fact that she's racist, but also she's racist against black people, not against Jews. Like being a Nazi, she never says anything about Jews. She never says the K word. She never says anything about Jews. And even when she's being racist to black, she doesn't even say the N word. right? So it's like, oh, she's racist, but she's not going to say that. That's a no word. Do you know what I mean? It's really silly that you're going to have a character who literally like murders, people of color, but won't. You never have her actually say any like proper slur. I mean, it just seems like bizarre. Also, the fact that the actress is Jewish doesn't help either.
Yeah.
It's like, oh yeah, the Jewish Nazi, the Jewish Nazi white supremacist, and I don't know, it just seems it's just bizarre.
It's weird, yeah. But let's get back to Wheel of Time. I don't know. I don't want to watch The Boys season 2 again. That was such a bad show. It is so awful. But when we get to Faldara, Moraine tells Amalisa, who is an Aes Sedai, which is just like, well, not an Aes Sedai. She was accepted and trained. It's fine. It's a meaningless change.
She has an empty ring.
Yeah.
Which is interesting. But that kind of fucks up later plot points, because when you have Egwene claiming to be a green Aja, how can she do that if she's accepted? Because the rings literally look different.
Oh, she's probably just gonna put a gemstone in it. It'll be fine. I mean, it's not like it's a completely meaningless change that adds nothing.
But it's still I'd see that as that fucks with it, because it's like it looks different. It literally, like the full Aes Sedai's ring literally looks different than Accepted's ring, which the fact that in the books they are literally, it's just the ring doesn't look any different for an Accepted Aes Sedai. That's what allows them to pass off as Aes Sedai. If there's literally a like visible difference between what an Accepted has and what a full Aes Sedai has, that is a problem.
Yep. There's also the element of when they do this, they are going to be found out. It's just going to be so easy for them to get called out. And to people in the peanut gallery who will watch this video and say, oh, you're just filthy purists who say that everything should be like the books. It's like, no, we are saying that this fundamentally changes things, and we've seen what happens when they come up with original content. Most of their original content is bad.
Mm-hmm. Well, the only thing I can think of to possibly make it work is that they're going to be like, oh, most people don't realize that only full Aes Sedai have the colors in their rings, but if they're that widespread, people would know.
But they have to pass it off to other Aes Sedai as well. I'm pretty sure there's parts where there's other Aes Sedai who would know as well. So I don't know, man. It's just
not other Aes Sedai, just people that are Aes Sedai agents.
Yeah.
Oh, because when they're in Ibu Dar, there are definitely people that would know.
By that point, they have been declared as full sisters by Egwene.
Yeah, but that's by Egwene. That's by the I don't know.
At that point, they don't need to like disguise themselves.
Well, I mean, it doesn't work for the events in Book 4, where Egwene and Moraine both go to the Aiel Waste with Rand. Egwene wouldn't be able to pass herself off as an Aes Sedai when Moraine is right there. They're both wearing the same rings, and if their rings aren't identical or close enough to identical, they're going to be like, something's off about this Egwene Sedai.
Yeah, it's like you're supposedly a green Aja, but you don't have the thing that says you're green, And Moraine has the one that says she's blue. Like, why don't you have the thing? And then
it really throws a wrench in things going forward, which is frustrating.
If they even get that far.
Yeah, since Cowboy Bebop got canceled.
Well, there's no way they're canceling it right now. They're definitely doing the second season. They're already doing it. So they're definitely getting the second season. And I feel like they're probably just going to keep going. They're probably just going to
Yeah, they're getting decent reviews, like 20,000 reviews, even though like there have been some elements of review bombing where on both sides, from both sides, where some people are giving it 5 out of 5, others are giving it a 1. It's now evened out to 3.5.
I'm just so confused. How does anyone like this? It's
Maybe we'll
that's-
watch some videos from some people that likes this show.
It's just not. It's not campy enough for me to just relax. You know, it's not campy enough for me to just relax and enjoy it for being what it is. Like Legend of the Seeker, I can even when it's dumb, I can still enjoy it. You know.
Also,
Yeah.
the characters in Legend of the Seeker are actually better than in the show.
Yeah.
But with
Like,
episode
you have
7, I was
Richard
like,
Cypher, who is a good man, who is very firmly characterized, but he's got a good sense of humor. Like when Zed says, "That's lesson number 6."
Numbers.
He's
You're
like-
just making this up as you go along.
It's so funny. And also just him and Bridget Regan have excellent chemistry and are honestly better actors than anybody in the show. Like when they have to act as the two people that have taken their faces, and Craig Horner's just acting like a bumbling doofus, and Bridget Regan is this weird, neurotic, crazy lady. It's awesome. It's just fantastic. And then in season 2, you get Bruce Spence in drag, cause it's so funny. It's so funny. But yeah, it's just why. Though
Well-
honestly, if Bridget Regan could play Lanfear, I would be happy. I would be so happy.
bruh.
like Lanfear's going to be such a weird casting, or it's going to be funny no matter who they get, because Lanfear is the most beautiful woman anyone has ever met. So whoever they cast for that role, the director's basically saying, "This is the most beautiful woman I have ever met."
Yeah. This is the standard of beauty. Basically, this is.
And there's been some idiotic rumblings that like casting a white woman as Lanfear might be kind of racist.
But if you cast if you cast someone who isn't white, then you're casting a person of color as a villain. So you
Yeah.
can't win.
Well, they've
You
already
can't
done that with
fucking
Pat and
win.
Fane. They've already done
Yeah.
it with Pat and Fane.
And Eamon Valda as well.
Yeah.
Like it's funny. Like you see fucking channels. They're like, see how white supremacist it is that they're making all these characters black, and they're doing it because they're going to kill them or because they're bad guys. And it's like so strange. It's like looking
Technically,
at a parallel universe.
Eamon Valda is actually black in the books, so that's not really a change.
I never noticed.
It's so
I think he's dark,
blink
but
and
I'm
you
not
miss
sure
it.
if you know.
They don't. He
darker,
never really
you know.
Well, he describes as dark skin. Dark skin is basically black. Like that's how the Sea Folk are described, and they're basically African black.
Yeah, well,
I
dark
thought they
is
were more like
relative.
Polynesian. Yeah.
Yeah, or like I know for sure Tuon is African.
Tuon's the one that's like the most obvious, because that's like literally like no. It's like almost like it's like you think whatever you think, and then it doubles down. It's like no, like she's really black.
Yeah.
Anyway, back to the episode. We have so after Moraine vindictively sicks the red on Matt because she doesn't like him, and grr, Matt. Then after that, isn't that like the Moraine tells them, "Oh yeah, one of you's gonna have to be the Dragon Reborn," or was that Min before that? I don't even remember.
Min showing up with two visions. With few visions. We see Perrin with yellow eyes and blood streaming down his mouth. That's decently
Whatever,
clear. Yeah.
Subtle.
Yeah. The one that I'm confused about is Rand holding a baby.
Yeah, I just don't get how that works at all. Like, are they saying that Rand is gonna survive and become a father? Like,
Why is that the most important thing to? Surely there should be more about Rand. Do you know what I mean? Surely there should be more than that.
Yeah.
also because they cut Matt before meeting Min, we don't get to see all of the foreshadowing involving Matt. Like,
You got to see the dice.
or an
you know,
eye on a scale. That was
the
one of the
fox-
very
the-
first things she saw
snakes
about
and
Matt.
foxes and stuff.
Yeah. So let me find Rand. So what she sees about Rand: a sword that isn't a sword, Kalendor. Easy enough. Up to the Sangreal sword that will be his tool in Binding the Dark One.
Yeah,
A
but
crown
he
of
doesn't.
laurel
He
leaves.
doesn't need that apparently.
Yeah. Golden crown of laurel leaves, meaning that he will be the king of Ilion. The beggar's staff, unexpected visit to Ebu Dar, planning to attack the Shanshan, but leaving. That makes sense. Pouring water on sand. That is the reference to you'll spill the blood of those who call themselves Aiel as water on sand. That makes sense. Bloody hand and white hot iron. The loss of his hand, and as well as referring to the Heron Mark blade brand on his hand. Lightning all around him, some striking, some coming out, and 3 women standing over him with on a funeral bier. Black rock, wet with blood. It's obvious, red on black. The dragon's blood stains the rocks of Sheol. We get none of that.
We got nothing. Like it's like Rand is like the least interesting one. Again, again, Rand gets like the most like, all right, so he has a child at some point. Okay, cool, I guess. I mean, I don't and they're still they still do again like like Min still says like, oh, they're both equally strong, like divisions. So it's still like, oh, okay, they're still doing it. They're still playing the fucking game, even though we have Rand being like, no, it's definitely me. It's still kind of, well, you don't know. Maybe they're all kind of part of the dragon.
Well, yeah, like one of the things they kept from the books is that Min mentions that there's a viewing that they all have when they're together, like a bunch of. In the book, she described it as sparks filling a void,
which I think that was represented decently well, and also the golden ring. That's Land's ring, the flame around Nynaeve, and the flame of Tarvalon, a white flame by Egwene, which is decent foreshadowing. The other vision that she has is of Moraine, and that the Amaryllis seat will be Moraine's downfall. That I am concerned about. I have no idea what that could possibly mean, other than like I'm now in kind of the camp that they are rewriting so much that it's just like I don't know what they could do, but I'm not excited in a good way for that. I'm not excited for it. I'm dreading it, really.
Oh, do you think they're going to kill Moraine off early and forget that she's actually survives in the books?
So what does Moraine? What does she have to do between now and when she's supposed to go?
In the books, she kills Baltham. She kills Belial with balefire. Mm-hmm. She acts as Rand's political mentor. In book 5, she is along for the ride with him in the Waste, and he's butting heads with her consistently.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, and then you have the whole like her like
she finds
obeying him and stuff.
She finds that Samael is in Ilion.
Okay. I can see how like a lot of that is like, could that be? Are there other characters that could do that? Could we bring in Cadsuane a lot earlier?
Oh God, no! I hate Cadsuane.
There was actually a thing on Mahler's Discord where somebody was actually defending Cadsuane, saying that Brandon Sanderson did Cadsuane dirty in the later book in Gathering Storm, that she was an idiot in Gathering Storm.
Oh, she came across as an idiot the whole time to me, personally.
Yeah, it's kind of just, we need to make it so that Rand is not so toxic. Is basically
she's not very like.
She's not good at it.
Doing that, like it doesn't, like nothing she does seems to actually do anything towards that like aim, even on paper. Like it's like, what were you expecting to happen?
You're trying to make him humble, but honestly, you're just making him more angry and prickly. But yeah, and then we get Lan has a family of Malkieri that he visits, which is fine, I suppose.
Bit of a waste of time, if you ask me.
Yeah. And then we get Lan's backstory with a lot of things cut out, admittedly. Like all that about Lord about Isam, his cousin, is also
I thought they were brothers.
no, they're cousins. It's Lan's dad, Alakir Mandragoran's brother, died in the Blight, and his brother's wife was allied with Cowan Fairheart, who is a dark friend, and because of the Malkir fell because they weren't able to. They had a civil war that also ended up weakening Malkir enough for the Blight to come down and kill them.
Oh, okay.
And because of that, Braham carried Isam away when it became clear that it was falling.
Anyway, we don't get that, and instead Lan had nothing to live or die for until he met Moraine.
Which is technically accurate. It was just kill as many Trollocs in the Blight as he could, even in the books. But it's still something.
I guess. Yeah. Oh, right. And then Lan and Moraine, or not Lan and Moraine, Lan and Nynaeve bone.
Yeah, I feel like this clip is appropriate at this point in time.
Stalling tactic.
Where is it? Oh, it's in 2. I have way too many clips.
And then they fuck!
I mean, at least they didn't have like a full like sex scene. You know what I mean? At least it wasn't like
I don't know about you, but I wanted to see Zoe Robin. I think that Zoe Robbins is pretty hot.
I don't fucking care. I don't want to see. I'm sick of it. I'm fucking sick of it. We don't like. It's so fucking.
I would be honestly. I think that's stupid that they're having sex this early. But I would be like
a non-naive thing to do.
Yeah, Nynaeve is a conservative Christian woman, essentially.
Essentially, yeah. Like it's
like didn't she wait to bone Land until after they got married?
Yep.
Yeah, he's like really, really like, you know, awkward. You know, like oh well, you know, I haven't done anything like this, and
well, no, know, like man. She apparently like she is bowled over by how good Lan is at having sex.
It's all that practical experience.
Yeah, like Lan knows his way around a woman's body, apparently. Like tons and tons of women. Like he used to be like he's gotten a little bit more craggy, but he's like still handsome. And even like Mirelle, who's been around for a while and has had sex with a lot of guys since like she has like 3 marriage knives in Talleyrand Riyadh at one point, indicating she's married all 3 of her warders, so she's had a lot of sex. And apparently Lan has claw marks on his back from how good he is.
Well, now he just has scars on his back. Maybe he bedded a Trolloc.
I just find like 9 times out of 10 sex scenes are just a waste of screen time. Like I just don't need to see it. I don't need to see that shit.
Maybe I would be fine with a little bit of titillation, but yeah, they are ultimately pointless.
It's kind of like we could be moving the actual plot along, you know, the life or death stakes, the fate of the world, etc.
Getting some characterization for the main frickin' character.
Because I feel like 9 times out of 10, unless like there's the only time that that sex scene can be like good is if it's awkward, it goes horribly wrong, and then they just end up not having like they try to have sex, but then it's just too awkward, or they keep fucking up, or like they like bang their head off the back of the bed, and they're like, oh fuck, oh no, oh you've ruined it, you know, like
you killed the mood.
Yeah, like something like that where it shows there's like awkwardness or like tension in the relationship, and then it kind of goes nowhere, and it's just really awkward. That is like interesting. That's you've introduced an interesting element that you couldn't have done without having that scene. But most sex scenes, you can basically just go, okay, they had sex. That's all you need to know. Like,
Yeah. Yeah, and then we have the scene where we have the implied love triangle between Karen, Rand, and
no,
which
I
is
hate it so fucking much.
I don't like it either. And also, like, Machin Shin even says you wanted to get Layla out of the way because you loved another woman more than your wife. Which,
So
if Machin Shin says it, it means it's true because it's telling Rick he's the Dragon Reborn and that Moraine is scared that they'll all go to their deaths and she'll call it heroism. It's just like,
pretty
Machin
much.
Shin apparently is laying down some base truths.
Yeah, it's like telling you the things that'll make you uncomfortable or that you don't want to hear. But at the end of the day, it's not like it's all true. Like it's it is all.
Yep, it's frustrating.
Very, very frustrating.
Also, it's another interesting thing about Min, right? So about her viewings, and I think an interesting thing that's missing is the viewing to Rand about Egwene. About you will.
She's
like
she's
the
not
idea
meant for
that
you nor you for her.
Yes, he's not meant. That's not there. Like it's not like that. That kind of like no. Like you're not meant for each other. Isn't actually. That's not there. They've just they could have added that. They could have added that. It was just one line that there's no reason they couldn't have had that, but they specifically not had that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? To me, I think Egwene is replacing Min in the love triangle. In the not the love triangle. The I guess no, it's gonna be like it's more of a love tetrahedron.
Or a love square.
Yeah.
Well, no, because it's one.
5.
Yeah, but it's 4 because it's.
Well, they're gonna have the ladies interested in each other as well in this, so
so it's 4 points. So it's if it was a 3-dimensional shape. It would
be
each of them connected to 3 other points, so it would be like a pyramid, like a triangular pyramid,
like a star. Yeah, but if they did have Min point out that Rand and Egwene aren't meant for each other, then we wouldn't have this stupid love triangle bullshit.
Yeah.
But I think there's no way that Min can be in it now because, like, the fact that she was having, she
aunt is cast for season 2.
But
so
she was there. She literally says like she was there when Tam was in Tarvalon in like the alien armor.
Yeah, but did she mention how old she was? I think she said she was like a little girl.
Well, we know that Min is the same age as Nynaeve, which means she's 25. So she was
I don't fucking buy that.
I always pictured Rand and Min being about the same age.
I thought she was younger.
It's actually said specifically when Rand first meets her that she's about Nynaeve's age.
Well,
and Nynaeve is 25.
I mean, she could. They say she could look that way, but some people look and or sound very youthful. I get told that all the time.
Yeah.
And also, she doesn't seem very tomboyish. You know, like she didn't really have any qualities like that at all. She's pretty much exactly the same type of character as the Dark Friend from episode 3.
Pretty much. Rand should have been afraid of her.
He should have been like, you're probably a Dark Friend.
Do you have a sword on you? I have to run away if you do.
Yeah. It also annoys me more. Episode 3, the fact that Matt doesn't do anything more there, that he doesn't like, especially if we ever have the iconic what do you call it, staff scene, like with the
where
stick or whatever, right, where he like fights against the Galad and Gawain or whatever, right? If you have that scene later, it kind of like makes it really dumb in episode 3 because it's like, surely there must have been something he could use like that and defeated one person with a sword. Like, it just seems.
Not to mention, Rand should probably have experience with a quarterstaff too. They're from the same place, or at least the same area, so likely they both know how to use a quarterstaff.
Yeah.
That was a dumb fucking scene. But then that's another episode. But it's like, yeah.
Well, it's just like Batwoman. It just gets worse the more you think about it.
Yeah. So, what else do we
That's
have in the
pretty
episode?
much.
Oh, they tried to do foreshadowing with Rand. They showed him firing the bow and missing, and then later on he was hitting the targets head on. But we have
And
no
while that's
context.
happening, we see him, the weaves of him breaking down the door.
Oh yeah, we get the fucking backstory. We get the scene from the books of Tom telling him all this shit, where there's no indication in the previous episodes that Rand was thinking about this shit. Like there's
No,
no
it wasn't.
indication in his face
Yeah.
whatsoever that Tom
Also,
had
he
told
comes
him
in on a
anything
horse.
that he was struggling
Also,
with.
he's not carrying. Also, he doesn't carry. There's a slight continuity problem. He's the horse. He has a horse helping him carry Tam in episode 1.
Yeah,
And
Bella,
yet in
best
this he's
girl.
carrying. And in this one, he's just he's carrying him.
But it just feels within the context of just the show, it feels like a retcon. The idea that this conversation happened or that Tom told him all of this stuff, it feels like a retcon because there was no acting to support the idea that Tom had told him something like this, or that he'd heard something like this from Tom that he was keeping secret from everybody else, or that he was, there's
That he
no
was internally
indication.
struggling with.
Exactly. There's no indication on, and I don't think that's the actor's fault. I think that's
I think
that's
this is definitely a script problem because they
That's the
give him
script
no
and
opportunity. They give him no opportunity to say
My
to kind of
fucking God.
like they give him no opportunities to act as if he is like just forcibly telling himself that man is my father.
And there's
Mostly
no
because
way
they wanted to maintain the mystery.
there's
That's
no
the
way
only
that you
reason.
can't leave this to episode 7 of like this penultimate episode of the first season. You can't leave it this late because then it just feels like you just pulled out of your ass at the last minute.
Yeah.
It's so bad.
It also ruins episode 3 because if someone actually took the sword from him, the only memento he has of his father, Tam Thor, Rand probably would have murdered her to get it back no matter what.
Yeah.
He never would have considered running away from her and letting her keep the sword.
What was the cold open of the second episode?
Cold open of the second episode.
The White Cloaks. It was the White
Yeah, it
Cloaks.
was the White
shit.
Cloaks. Yeah.
I'm just wondering, like, if you had done the scene, if you had like Rand after he comes back at the end of the first episode, and you can see that he has something on his mind, right? And then the first episode ends, and then the cold open of the second episode could have been that scene with Tom.
Mm-hmm.
And now you know that that's on his mind. That would have been way better.
But it would have spoiled the reveal that he is the Dragon Reborn
And we can't have that. Oh no!
because they decided to trade internal character conflict with mystery.
Yeah, but internal character conflict is hard. That's why Perrin had a wife named Frigid.
And
Yeah.
and also they could have cut out. So they have that White Cloak scene where it's like Eamon Valda burning the Aes Sedai. I don't mind that scene, even though it is kind of silly that he's even able to do that. But also the fact that they actually the cutting off of the hands, even though he's like, well, you see, they don't actually need their hands. It's still kind of dumb that they could just cut off their hands. But anyway, I still like the idea of the scene of like, here's the White Cloaks, here they are, here's this one particular guy, and he's scary. But I think if you had the Tom and Rand scene at the start as the cold open for the second episode, then in the third episode, you have the White Cloak scene as the cold open, instead of having Nynaeve be like, oh, well, Nynaeve's dead, like, have it be that she's staying behind because she has to help care for the wounded, but then she comes along after she's able to leave. Like, so have it be something other than they think she's dead, because I think that whole thing of like He's not, oh, Nynaeve could be dead. Like, that's just stupid. It was
Yeah, that was
unnecessary.
stupid. And they
It was just
they even get
false.
they even like fix it at the end of episode 2.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
it's just completely pointless storyline, right? But it also uses up one of the cold opens because it uses up the episode 3 cold open, which could have been something else. So if you instead of completely cut we thought Nynaeve was dead, completely cut that plot line, then you could have had the Random Tam thing as the second episode cold open, the White
I think
Cloaks
they're
as the
calling it a-
third cold open. Yeah.
I think that calling it a plot line is way too complimentary. I was thinking plot cul-de-sac.
Yeah, but it takes up screen time, and it takes up a whole cold open, the cold open is like the most useful part because it can just be anything.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's so useful from a storytelling perspective because you can just put in any like spare backstory or extra scene that you didn't have time to fit in a previous episode, a scene that was going on at the same time as another scene in a previous episode, whatever. You could do anything in that cold open, but they just wasted it on this
Mm-hmm.
really dumb plot point.
Well,
And
if
then-
they didn't show Nynaeve killing a Trolloc, then we wouldn't have had a girl power moment, and we can't have that, or can't not have that. I don't know.
I just can't stand how they've kind of blandified Rand so much.
Yeah. Well, and the stupid thing is they built this whole first season around the mystery of, oh, who's the dragon reborn, when honestly the way they presented this mystery in the books was so much better because in the books Moraine didn't even tell them why she suspected the Dark One was after them. She just told the boys, hey, the Dark One's after one of you, here's the proof. Come with me if you want to live.
It targeted your farms basically, and
There's also the element that the dragon is not a scary concept in the show.
It's not. And so throughout the entire first book, Bran, Mat, and Perrin are being pursued by the Dark One's forces, and they don't even know why.
Yeah. But instead, like, they decided to mystery box this whole thing with a reveal at the end of episode 7 that is pretty anticlimactic.
They're probably just going to do
mind what they're doing. Like, I don't mind the idea of like he was actually channeling in these scenes. Like, I actually don't mind that.
Yeah, that's fine. That's in the books, but
I still think it would have been better to have. I feel like the lightning in the books is a little bit more convincing than he pushed open a heavy door. I feel like it's a little bit more. It's the idea of the lightning is the reason that's better is because it's more of a fantastical event, but it's just on the edge of believability that it's just luck. You know what I mean? It's just on the edge of like being like maybe it was just random lightning.
You know, it goes even further.
When he unhooks the boon that was secured,
because that would have been a very small amount of the one power, or that could have just been Ta'Veren luck. But considering he has channeling sickness, and then following chapter he channeled.
Well, not even like channeling sickness. It's more like channeling euphoria and idiocracy.
Yeah, I don't know. I liked high Rand. Now I'm even more upset. We didn't get to see Rand being high
on 2 occasions.
It also doesn't. Yeah, it also the fact that if that's supposed to be when he's channeled, why does he not show any like sickness or any effect on him in that whole? Because there was a month time skip.
Well, it's because I don't think they even have channeling sickness as a thing in this adaptation. Adaptation in the most massive air quotes you could possibly think of.
Yeah, even air quotes is generous.
Fictional air quotes then.
Yeah. But after Rand goes in, we see the scene where Tam helps his mom give birth, and that's like, at least Tam is a good man.
Yeah.
Tam is the only character in the show that has gotten off unscathed.
If you cut out the whole like epic fighting pregnant lady, if you cut out that whole part and just have the part where he finds her and she's pregnant and he helps deliver the baby and everything, if that's all you had, then it would be like, oh, that's a pretty cool scene.
Yeah, it wouldn't have been utterly laughable.
Just cringe. Just
Yeah,
like
it's
come
just
on, man.
like there are women who are moms on this set. I imagine there are female writers who have probably moms.
Yeah.
Like I know that like Mr. Rafe, I know that you are a gay man. You have no interest in women. That's fine. But please at least portray like the contractions of labor in a somewhat realistic fashion. This is insane.
It's actually sexist of him because he's downplaying the pain of labor and the pain that women have to go through and trivializing it. So he's actually anti-female. He's actually a misogynist for this scene because he's downplaying the pain that women have to go through. Shame on him.
Yeah, and it's interesting that like seeing the dragon reborn apparently awakened men's powers, which is interesting. An
Oh,
interesting
is
choice.
that what they're implying?
I think
Oh.
so. That like it was the first vision she ever saw, and it was so strong that activated her powers, I guess.
Oh, good
I-
grief.
And then after that, Rand comes to grips with it and tells Moraine, "We need to leave." So they leave, and Egwene has a whole gossipy girl moment where she's like, "You had the sex, didn't you?"
Ooh. Also, can we just talk about how stupid it is that Moraine is taking Rand alone to the Eye of the World after she heard from Min that there was a vision that all of the Eamon's Field kids are connected.
Apparently, yeah.
Yeah,
then from
Moraine.
there- and then we just have our episode 7 cliffhanger going into the finale, and I'm just like, I'm not interested at all. I'm not invested. I'm just
rooting for-
watching this to see I just want to see how they're going to screw this up.
Yeah.
Well, at this point, I'm rooting for the Dark One to win. Go bad guys.
Yeah. And so now we're going into nitpick territory, but the blight is wrong. It's incorrect. Okay, it's not just
It doesn't look like
it's like a
Sleeping
hard
Beauty.
line.
It
But
doesn't look like a sleeping. It doesn't look like a Sleeping Beauty. Forest of vines.
But it's literally just they portrayed it literally as just a hard line. Like here is the definitive edge of the blight. Like it's supposed to be a gradual. Like it gradually gets more and more bad. You know what I mean? And also, it's not supposed to be like Valdara isn't supposed to be in a desert. It's not supposed to be like a that kind of climate or anything. You know,
Yeah, they're so
it's
far north that they are like
it's north. You know what I mean?
so cold. It is extremely cold up there.
You know, it's supposed to be like I suppose like if you're going to compare it to like an Asian country, you know, it's suppose it's like kind of like certain parts of Russia, kind of. It's kind of
Yeah.
you know similar to that, you know.
Mm-hmm. And where's
Like Siberia, kind of, I guess.
Yeah. And Siberia, Tibet, maybe up in the Himalayas.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, the fact that it should be it gradually gets worse and worse and more disgusting and corrupted and everything. But they've just portrayed it as it's just this wall. It's the fucking forbidden forest from fucking Harry Potter. You know, it's
or Wisp actually pointed this out during our commentary. He was like, "It looks like something out of Sleeping Beauty. It looks like the hedge wall from Sleeping Beauty."
Oh yeah.
Yeah, well, you know, if they had it gradually change into the blight, then that would have cost money, and it's not like they have that. Amazon is a very poor company, after all.
But it's also like
it would actually cost less money because all you need to do is like find some place that has disgusting looking plants and just have a flat field. You don't have to do a weird like Swamp of Sadness from Neverending Story thing.
Yeah, but that would have required effort, and who has time for effort? Especially
I think
when
they
you...
just wanted that scene where they could stand in front of it and it'd be like, okay, here it is, here is the blight, and have it just be this like, there it is, like there you go.
Yeah. Any other thoughts? Like going into episode 8, I get the feeling there's going to be some kind of battle at Faldara because we see a bunch of Shinaran Shinarans with crossbows pointing their bows. We'll probably have the Eye of the World. Maybe we'll have some Forsaken. But I think that like the main reason why they left them behind is so that we have a POV on the ground in Faldara while they're fighting.
I think I'm just
Maybe
like, what is the
we'll get
point?
some
Like, what is the goal? What are they trying? What are they even trying to do? Like,
yeah, I'm lost and confused with this show. I don't understand what they're trying to do.
Oh, and they didn't do anything with Perrin in this episode aside from that stupid love triangle thing.
oh my god!
It's almost like because they had him kill his wife, Frigid. There's nothing left to do with him. His character's stuff is basically all set up. Now they just need to pay it off. Like, oh, I need to learn how to manage my inner beast.
It's really frustrating.
So I feel like compare it to Game of Thrones at a similar point, not in terms of tone, but in terms of like the story and where the story was at as of the first season, and like at the penultimate after the penultimate episode of the first season, the stakes are really clear. The actions that the people that we're following have to take to get what they want are clear. You know, everything is super clear. Do you know what I mean?
Like the plot going forward is clear. Ned Stark is dead. The War of the Five Kings is on. Robb Stark is going to get revenge. Daenerys has given up Khal Drogo to. We don't find it until episode 10, but he's in a catatonic state now, or at least like there's been that climax there where Miri Mazdur is chanting and doing weird stuff. But other than that, and structurally, like our characters have had a clear plot up to this point. This is like they wasted so much time in episode 5 and 6. It's ridiculous.
Well, we need to know that warders are sad.
And we need to assassinate Swan Sanche's character, despite giving her a really good actress. I love Sofia Canedo. Sofia Canedo is awesome, but the writing of her character is absolutely stupid.
No, she's not tyrannical. All women should be in charge.
Yeah. I don't really have any other. We've gone through the whole of the episodes.
Yeah. But like what I'm saying is like the idea of okay, we're going there, quote unquote, to defeat the Dark One. Like what does that mean? Like what actions does that consist of? You know.
Also, who is the Dark One
actually doing?
Who is the Dark One? The show hasn't answered that.
Yeah, and who's like and also like just Mr. Sinister screaming in their faces is just that's the only characterization we've gotten so far.
It's just what is like it doesn't make sense as a goal because it doesn't give us anything tangible to understand about. Okay, here's what that actually means in practice. Like it's not like okay, well, there's this character that we have to kill and they're in this fortress and here's how we get into this fortress or like I don't know, so like something where the chain of events.
The stakes and the events are very unclear and it's very mystery boxy.
Yeah. But everyone loves mystery boxes.
No, they don't. It's just J.J. Abrams because J.J. Abrams is a moron.
Gasp.
But even J.J. Abrams, like, I suppose it's not really J.J. Abrams. I suppose, like, if we're talking about like Lost, right?
That was J.J. Abrams.
Well, he wasn't actually the main like writer though. Like he wasn't like in charge of.
He was there for
Lindelof and.
He was the creator of Lost.
But in terms of like episode to episode, like writing, it was like Lindelof and what's his name?
Jeffrey Lieber. It was created by J.J. Abrams, Jeffrey Lieber, and David Lindelof.
Carlton Cuse.
Okay.
As well. But basically, even Lost, even with all the mystery box shit, putting aside all the mystery box shit, episode to episode, the stakes still pretty much made sense. You know what I mean? Even if you go up to like the season 1 finale or like the penultimate episode of the first season, like it still pretty much makes sense, and why the characters are doing what they're doing still pretty much makes sense. Even though there are these mysteries, their character motivation still makes sense. The goals still make sense. What they're trying to do still makes sense. In this, it doesn't really make sense. Like it does. Like what do you mean? Like what does defeating the Dark One mean? What are we actually doing? Like it's so vague. It makes no fucking sense.
They've honestly said, like, I don't know what they're going to be doing in episode 8, because it seems as though, based on, like, what there is still left to do, there is so much stuff that they need to do.
I wouldn't be surprised if they do a double bluff and reveal that, no, all of them are the Dragon Reborn.
Yeah,
I mean,
the
it doesn't
multi-headed
really
dragon thing would be so stupid, but they might do it. I'd be pissed off if they do it.
Well, it'd be tough to pull off since Matt isn't there, but, you know, Matt's a scumbag. He can't be the Dragon.
They all die because really Matt's the Dragon Reborn, but then Rand from the future comes back and he's discovered the weave for time travel.
That would be
they reset the
stupid.
timeline, and then they get the Infinity Gauntlet from the other timeline.
Yeah, honestly, like, the only thing I would say to that would be that
That's like if you tried to make scrambled eggs and instead you caught syphilis. How does that level of failure even exist?
We live in a society.
yeah. I've expressed my theories for what they're gonna do in the next episode. You guys have any further thoughts on this before we close this out?
Oh, maybe Moraine will actually be the one that's the Dragon Reborn because of raisins.
Please no.
Sit down and shut the fuck up!
No, I like honestly having read the books makes it even tougher to predict what will happen because they've deviated so far away from them already.
And they've given no good foreshadowing hints for theorization.
Yeah, even though in the books they foreshadowed events that happened in the last few books in the first one. Ugh.
Yep.
What do you even do at this point? Oh yeah, we had Uno in this episode for a bit,
Briefly.
for like a second, and yeah.
He's not even that. You can't even make this guy foul mouth. You'd have to have him drop the C word and the F bomb in order for him to actually seem foul mouthed in this show.
Yeah, I guess they're going to try to make him like that one. Who's the character in Game of Thrones that's? I suppose the Mountain swears a lot. The Hound, the Hound swears a lot, I suppose, but that's not who I'm thinking of. The other guy, the what's his name? The guy.
Describe him.
He gets like way more like screen time than he gets like page time. Like he's way more prominent in the show than in the books. And I think wasn't he?
Werner Herzog.
No. He was like, I think wasn't he like a champion or something for Tyrion at one point?
Champion of Marine?
Oberyn Martell?
No. What's he called?
Dario Nahara?
I don't think so.
Wasn't Strong Belwas.
What's he called? Like he was like the whole thing was he was like more popular with like the TV audience, so they kept putting him in more scenes and stuff. Yes, yeah. I feel like if they're probably gonna make kind of similar to that character, like fulfill the same kind of archetype.
Well, they
Like
have
that
to
kind of
actually.
attitude, you know?
They actually
They
have to
can't
have
really
Uno
even-
on screen to do that.
They also have to like radically change his character, because the thing about Braun is that he's an opportunistic douchebag who has no discipline. Uno is extremely disciplined in everything other than his language.
True.
Yeah, like
They would have
Nynaeve
to-
asked. Yeah, like
Go for
Nynaeve
it.
asked him if he could just swear once every other sentence, and he swears precisely that much.
Yeah, and it's like he's counting, and it's like
He's like,
paining him.
you know,
Like even like him say like he's like, I know that you women have weak belly, delicate stomachs. It's like
yeah.
just,
Um,
it's hilarious.
I'm trying. It's like, what can they even do? Like,
There is no salvaging this at this point. It is
What can they
completely
even-
dead.
what can they even do in the last? So, like,
I'm
I don't
really
even know. I don't even
I am
know.
excited. I am morbidly excited to see what happens on Thursday when this thing drops.
I'm hoping the Dark One wins. I'm rooting for him. You go, Dark One. Reshape this world into your image if you haven't already.
Wouldn't it be so hilarious if they decided to do a season 1 cliffhanger where it's like they accidentally do break open the Dark One's prison and
They go.
and then they have to
They
figure
get
out
into
how to
the
get him
Dark
back
One,
in
Dark
for
One's
the rest
prison.
of the show.
They get into the Dark One's prison, and they go in, and it's just a big screen that just has the Amazon logo.
Or it's a screen that gives them a giant middle finger.
It's
That'd
just
be
Jeff,
hilarious.
just Jeff Bezos.
Oh, if they do go with the whole Dark One going loose, and they have to find and recapture it, that could be Pat and Fane. He could become the host for the Dark One, and then they have to track him down. Oh, good God.
That would be awful. I could not imagine something that would be terrible.
They get there and they get the box of Orden. I mean,
The box of Orden makes sense compared to this, which is so awful. At least the box of Orden is set up throughout the thing and is a pivotal plot point throughout the show.
I think
sorry,
it's
the
actually
box of-
clear what they do.
The box of Horn?
The
Box of
boxes
Orden. It's basically
and Legends of the
it's a magical artifact in Legend of the Seeker where basically you put these three boxes together and you get the ability to tell everybody you can tell anybody to do
whatever you
anything.
want.
Yeah, they will do whatever you want.
Oh. Huh.
But the caveat is you turn into an awful monster. Even the best of men will turn into an absolute monster.
Wait, a physical monster or a metaphorical monster?
Like you will become like a dictator, basically. You'll do things that you would think like no, I'll be good and I'll use the power of responsibility, but you won't. Like you'll be like no, I'm gonna tell people no, you have to brush your teeth in anti-clockwise circles.
Or tell somebody to kill somebody else slowly.
Oh.
You have to break each of your toes one by one. It's like it's random.
Based on what I've seen of Swan in this show, I bet she found that box.
Yeah. We are going to be doing Legend of the Seeker Season 2 at some point. I kind of want to do... I would like to do Witcher and Arcane as before we do that, since those are a little bit more pertinent. And the nice thing about Netflix is they're all available, and we can just binge watch the whole show. So probably do like 3 episodes a week or something, and then review each of them and see where it's going. That'll be interesting. I've already seen season 1, but I want to show season 2 to everybody else, and I know that it's at least going to be engaging, and there's at least some titillation there, which is just like, I'm fine with this. I'm okay with this.
What was this, Witcher?
Yeah, The Witcher. Yeah.
I never finished the first season. I started watching it. I lost interest.
Yeah. The non-linear storytelling is very annoying.
Yeah, the only thing I know about The Witcher is that the main character is a guest fighter in Soul Calibur 6.
And the main actor is a Chad.
When it comes to fans, it is a fan's right to have whatever opinion they want to have. And people are going to be upset because, especially when you're talking about books or games, I don't necessarily consider that toxic. I just consider that passionate.
Oh!
Based.
So he's smart.
Yeah, like he doesn't berate people for not liking changes or whatever. But I do think I will have to finish the Witcher show. But I would think in its first, so it's an 8-episode season as well. The Witcher
Yep.
is also an 8-episode season. I suspect those 8 episodes are a lot better than the Wheel of Time's 8 episodes. You know,
Yeah,
for what they are.
the thing about Witcher is that at least so the stuff with the girl Ciri is a consistent through line plot. Geralt is a little bit more episodic, but there is an element of progression with him, and it all goes toward an end. And it all you are getting development for this character throughout the story. And the whole thing with Ciri, like, there's a mystery of why is Ciri so important, but it's done relatively well while also having good characterization and tension around that. And one thing that I will be happy with the people who did the show is that they're willing to listen to fan criticism and fan feedback. Like, and they were like, originally, like, the armor of the Nilfgaardians is supposed to be like representative of scrotum and penis, because of toxic masculinity. However, season 2, that armor is gone. They have replaced with something that actually looks aesthetically pleasing, and I'm just like, you are willing to leave out your stupid commentary for an aesthetic choice that makes it look better. You have my respect. I will watch this then. I don't care if you have done like some like semi-woke casting, you have done no woke storytelling, which I'm just like, thank you.
It's like, just don't be cringe. It's not that hard. That's all we ask, is just don't be cringe.
And write it intelligently. That's kind of the problem with woke storytellers. Most of them are idiots. Ryan Johnson, complete moron. J.J. Abrams, complete moron. Rafe Judkins, it seems like, is kind of dumb. And I'm just so annoyed by this.
You know, it's like literally just the lowest standards of, okay, but can it make sense, please?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just
Making sense is bad. Turn your brain off. Logic is horrible.
I still quite like the show Buffy, like Buffy the Vampire Slayer. I'm still a fan of that show. It has some dumb moments, but I'm still a fan of that show. But that show never had it never had a season where Buffy was pregnant and like was in labor in an episode, and like it never did that. You know what I mean?
It's very much a moment.
Actually, this is stupid. You are a pathetic junkie. Too stupid to understand and follow simple rudimentary instructions.
Seriously, but based on what I've seen in this show, I am convinced that Rafe hasn't read the books. He's read the wiki articles.
Yeah.
I don't even know what to believe. I feel like
this has ruined so much.
If he read the books and if he enjoyed them, I feel like he got something completely different. Like he enjoyed them for a completely different reason than whatever. Because I thought it was the world building was interesting, the themes, and his interpretation of the themes.
The character progression is really good.
Yeah.
But then we don't have it. It's really frustrating. I don't really have anything else to say. These 2 episodes are just like so bland. Like 7 kind of gets back onto the books sort of, but the changes that are there are kind of just dumb. And just the cold opening is just so stupid.
The problem is, like, especially when you put big changes at the start, is that they're stuck there. They're like in the roots, you know. You've built your house on these foundations. Do you know what I mean? And you've fundamentally changed the entire nature of the thing, because these are built into the very start of the show. You cannot take them out. They are built in. There's no way of getting them out. It's like I saw that I can't remember what it was on, but it was like this massive wall made of Lego, right? Big massive. I can't remember what show it was on. I feel like maybe was James May on it, or am I thinking of something else? But I think it basically was this big wall made of Lego that everyone was involved in, like a ridiculous, like world record Lego wall made of loads and loads of pieces, and it had like this pattern to it. You know, it had like a particular pattern, and then only at the very end did they realize that near the bottom, you know, at about eye level, there was this one brick in this kind of stripe of white. There was this one brick that was pink. And there's basically no way to get that brick out without taking out down the entire wall, you know? And that's these changes. They're built in. There's no way to separate them from what the story is now, like what it will have to be.
And there are massive implications later on that are going to screw up a lot.
You know, like basically, if they do eventually adapt the whole series, their foundation is extremely shaky to the point where I don't think they can even follow the books at all anymore.
Like,
which is
either be consistent with the books or be consistent with what they've already written. And
I think both. I think both, because they've introduced a lot of problems that will hurt them going forward.
Yeah, I mean, it's fine. Every adaptation that deviates completely away from the books turns out well. I mean, look at the last season of Game of Thrones. That's well received.
It's a thing when I say, yeah, well, you need to make some changes in adaptation, what I mean is taking out Tom Bombadil. What I mean is, okay, maybe we can have some elves at Helm's Deep. You know, like that's what I fucking mean when I'm like, oh, you have to make some changes. That's the kind of thing that I mean.
The only in-name only adaptations that I can think of that were pretty dang good were John Carter and Legend of the Seeker. The only reason
I still like John Carter, though. I mean, I know.
Yeah, I know. That's why I say John Carter is basically an in-name. I love John Carter the movie, but I can say that it is one of the few good movies that is basically taking very little from its source material.
I like the source material. Probably more than you like the source material. I quite like the source material of John Carter.
So you like Princess of Mars? Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
I think it's just fun, you know.
I think it was kind of just weird, and I kind of felt a little bit tensionless during the spots that were supposed to have tension. But then again, it is from a different time.
It's seeing it as like what it influenced and seeing what took ideas from it, and like realizing that so many ideas came from it, where like you learn to like appreciate like, you know, like Flash Gordon and stuff, and all of these other like characters, or even like Buck Rogers as well. There's a whole lot of like characters that are like clearly this is just John Carter, but like with a different skin, basically. And also the idea of a lot of like the more like lore ideas, like the idea that he's stronger because he's used to the Earth's gravity. The idea that he's stronger because he's grown up on a higher gravity than Mars. I thought like that the idea of like him effectively being just, it's like not superhuman, but it's like just enough that is like, whoa, he's like really strong, like kind of thing. That kind of idea is just really cool. It's just really cool ideas like that, and lots of action and shit. And also the way he writes, like the way it's written is very like snappy, you know, and fast, and like the action's really well like written. It's as opposed to like Robert Jordan, where it's very descriptive, and sword fights are kind of. I do like the way Robert Jordan does sword fights, but it's not very visceral most of the time. It's very like flowery and stuff. But I feel like the way John Carter's written is like bam, bam, bam. You know.
Yeah. Okay. I guess a better example is a Legend of the Seeker, where like I've read the books, the Sword of Truth books. Those books are terrible. Those books are awful.
Yeah.
and they have basically nothing in common with the show, other than a few small things. Like the Box of Warden is this whole weird, complicated thing where you put them in play and then you open one specific box up, and it's a 1 in 3 chance of whether or not you die, the whole world dies, or you get to rule the world.
Yeah.
And
it's really annoying with adaptations now, where I'm kind of it's like it would be cool to see it, but at the same time, it would be better to have no adaptation than something that's just gonna stay in like my mind every time I think of the property. I'm going to be thinking of the terrible adaptation, and so you're kind of like, should I be asking for an adaptation? Is it bad? I feel like I shouldn't. I feel like I should leave it alone.
It just seems as though we're in an era where we're just mostly getting bad media, like kind of like what happened in kind of the late '90s, kind of around the era of Batman and Robin to Lord of the Rings, where the only like good blockbusters that we got were kind of some one-offs, like Mask of Zorro or maybe like Face Off. Everything else was kind of bad. Everything else was really bad. Like we had Spawn, Roland Emmerich, Godzilla. We had Steel. We had so many bad movies come out in that time period. Though I think that like the movies we might be getting now are worse because at least the movies back then are funny and how bad they are.
Well, I think the end of the 90s were like, because I feel like 1999 is like a ridiculous year for movies. You know, like if you like the amount of movies that came out, like there are just insanely like really good movies that came out in 1999. It's pretty crazy. But also, there's a lot of properties as well. I'm not sure if this is ever going to get adapted. Like something like Thomas Covenant. I can't see that getting adapted.
Yeah, same with Malazan, Book of the Fallen, where you have a floating city in the sky and cities that are massive scale. Like it is basically unfilmable.
I feel like that with Malazan, it's like it's just too much. But I can see like in terms of themes, why thematically I can see people wanting to I see it being appealing even to a lot of like woke people. I could see a lot of it being like, okay, it's very
because it's got a thick woman.
It's extremely equal. To a point where I find it a little bit silly, the idea that you can we're just going to make it equal. Like we're just going to just make it. Just seems like okay, even with the magic, it seems a little bit of a stretch to say that it would be this equal, but whatever. Like it's kind of okay, whatever. Yeah.
It is. Yeah, I think that like maybe it's just Legend of the Seeker that's the best in name only adaptation, and I guess like John Carter the book and John Carter the movie are kind of like on equal footing, I suppose. I'd have to re-listen
different
to
things, right? They're just like. I think the appeal of the books is how kind of quick they are. They're very quick reads.
They're very pulpy.
Yeah. I like a lot of the pulpy stuff, like like the shadow and everything and that kind of stuff. So
yeah. Alrighty. I think that's it for Wheel of Time. I'm not excited for the finale. I am interested to see how bad. Well, I'm interested in kind of the same way that EFAP was tense during Falcon and Winter Soldier. It's just how bad are they going to screw up?
Yeah,
is what I'm thinking.
What will be fucked up more? The lore, the timeline, the characters.
Yeah. Alrighty, we'll call that good for tonight. We will see you later. I'll upload this soon. Bye.
Bye.